Welcome everyone inside the RxMuscle studios in New York for another episode of Ask Dave, better known as hashtag Ask Dave on RxMuscle.com, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. I'm your host, Sadiq Faruqi. Glad you can join us on this Thursday afternoon. Now, usually we come to you on Wednesday afternoon, but yesterday the team made a special field trip out to Stamford, Connecticut. We visited the WWE Networks, the headquarters, and Dave had an opportunity to visit one of your longtime friends, worldwide celebrity, a man who is going to be the subject of our next Live With.
Yeah, it was great. We got to interview my good friend Triple H, sit-down interview. You know, we've done some interviews along the way where, radio interviews, and I've done some interviews where we were at shows together. But this was good because I got to ask him a lot of questions. It was a long interview. And then I got to interview his beautiful wife, Stephanie McMahon. And so we got two great interviews in the bag for you guys. Might not be live with, but they were filmed live for certain. And I thought we got some great stuff. And then, of course, Per Bernal, the world-renowned photographer extraordinaire, was there shooting them as well because Triple H obviously was in great shape for WrestleMania, and he kept his conditioning for another couple of weeks. And Stephanie kept dieting as well under my tutelage, I might add. And they both look great. We got some great pictures of them. And so I think the whole day was a lot of fun. We got to hang out with everyone and shoot the crap and find out all the latest gossip and insights, which we're not going to share with you, of course. But I always enjoy getting a chance to spend some time with them. They're super great people and very supportive of everything I do. And I'm really proud to call them my friends.
Well, you got an image there of Johnny Styles, who did an excellent job yesterday producing the entire interview set. Things were a little heated, though, yesterday. We got into a bit of an argument, Johnny and I. We happened to be in the ring when we got in this argument, and I think Johnny actually has security footage of the incident.
We're going to go with Ask Dave first, then Live With. We're going with Live first, that's it. We'll go with our highest rated show first, Johnny Styles. I'll get you for this. Oh, go on, rules!
Rules indeed, and that's how it all went down at WWE Network headquarters. Live with Triple H and Live with Stephanie McMahon. Keep it tuned. We'll have the broadcast date up shortly on RxMuscle.com. 30-minute question and answer show with Dave Palumbo. Your questions on diet, training, supplementation, IFBB pros, competitions. We just had the Pittsburgh Pro, the New York Pro, competitive IFBB competition just around the corner next weekend. So now we are fully in the midst of the contest calendar. We go to the Muscle Central Forum on RxMuscle.com. If you're not a member, it is free to register. That is where we go first for our questions. And of course, this being the contest season, you have to have a membership on RxMuscle.com. It is free to view our photo galleries. We first go to Angelo Mark 20. I hate this show more than Stevie B hates to cut back. All jokes aside, I love the show and the content. My question is about getting a pump in the gym. I've been training about 4 years now and went from a skinny 150-pound kid at 6 feet tall to a pretty lean 200 pounds. I am a natural, but have noticed the last year or so I don't get the same crazy pump I used to. Just curious, what would be causing this? Perhaps getting used to the feeling of training or not resting enough between sets. I have solid workouts still and good gains when I eat enough. Just curious why the pump isn't as strong.
Well, there's usually two reasons why a person wouldn't get a pump in the gym. And a lot of guys who are contest dieting run into this problem. When you're on low carbs and the glycogen stores in your muscles are low, thus the water that gets held with the carbohydrates or the glycogen in the muscles is low, you just can't get that same skin-bursting pump. Another reason is overtraining. A lot of people train just too long in the gym. They don't take days off, and so their muscles never get to recover, and they never get to fill up with glycogen and restore their protein structure. So a combination of those two are deadly. So as your body gets bigger and your metabolism increases, you need more food. So if you feel flat and you're not getting a pump in the gym and you're trying to put muscle size on, you probably need to increase your food. Now, it could be a carb depletion issue. It could be a fat depletion issue too, or a combination of the two. So you got to kind of play with your macronutrients and see what the problem is. And if you're not taking days off from the gym or you're doing too many body parts or staying in the gym too long, cut that back as well.
Let's go to Big Mike Cox. Dave, do you believe the outrageous claims Victor Richards made regarding eating 20,000 calories a day and training for 3 to 4 hours?
You know, I had Victor Richards on the radio show a couple years ago, and he actually admitted to me that those were all made. That was all fabricated. That he never really ate that many calories, and that he didn't train that long. You know, he did love to train, and he was a big dude. But you know, the Joe Weider magazine model back in the day was sensationalistic because that's what sold magazines. And Victor Richards was one of these bigger than life characters that no one really. He was an enigma. He never really competed, but he was impressive as hell to look at. And so they made up it was like the Paul Bunyan, tale, so to speak. They wanted to make him bigger than life.
Let's go to Benadu14. Hey guys, I hate this show so much. I would rather compete for millions of dollars in another league with Tony Freeman. Why cut back question? What is the best protocol and times to take Clen? Once or twice a day? And have heard many people taking it before bed. What do you think of that?
Clenbuterol needs to be spaced out. So, most people, I recommend that people start off with 20 micrograms twice a day. So that would mean morning and then maybe it's 2-3 hours later. You can increase the dosage over the course of, weeks as the weeks progress. I usually increase it by 20 micrograms every 2 to 3 weeks. So let's say you're up to 5 pills or 100 micrograms per day. You want to take 20 micrograms 5 times a day. So you would just space them out every couple hours. You don't want to take more than 20 at a time because then you kind of get more side effects. Your blood pressure could drop a little bit. You might get a little rapid heart rate because of that. So space them out. That's the key. And increase them very slowly, gradually. Don't just say, oh, I got to burn a lot of fat. I'm going to take 6 pills a day. That's not a smart thing to do.
Before we go to Bait Slinger, reminder, Monday afternoon, Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be live with George Brown, IFBB Men's Physique Pro. His stock is rising, and it's going to be very interesting to see what he has to say just days before he defends his New York Pro title. And talking about New York, well, let me get to his I hate first. I would rather have the fleas of 1,000 camels infest my armpits than have to watch this show. Great job, Bait Slinger. Dave, can you mention the big names who are going to be in the New York Pro? Now, you mentioned the different divisions, men's bodybuilding, 212, women's physique, figure, even classic physique. He says he doesn't really, care about men's physique. Let's talk about some of the big names that you want to see next weekend. First of all, we're going to be having a great heavy muscle TV show. Now, we did the 100th anniversary a couple months ago, and we're going to actually get the 101 episode on Thursday before the New York Pro. We have a lot of people coming in. The Lenahans will be here. Thomas Lenahan making his pro debut. Andrea Lenahan, Women's Physique Pro in the house. Nathan Diasha from the UK, who's living in Kuwait and training with the Camel Crew, will be in town as well on the show. And we got a couple. We're trying to get Shanique Grant, too. So these are all people that Brian Yursky will be in town. Obviously, he's our new species nutrition athlete, and he'll be in the studio. So there's a lot of guys in the show, but I think the favorites have got to be Dexter Jackson, number one. He's the guy to beat. Obviously, the hottest, highest ranked guy on the stage. Juan Morel, who's defending his title, obviously is going to be terrific. I heard Max Charles is going to be doing it. John De La Rosa, I know, is doing it. Victor Martinez is doing it. I got Victor Richards on the brain now. Victor Martinez is doing it. Obviously, it'll be a battle from last year, Victor versus Juan. It'll be a nice rematch. So it's going to be a very competitive show. Obviously, Nathan Diasha, I predict he's going to be right up there as well, maybe top 3. So I think it's going to be one of the best New York pros in a long time. Now, all the New York pros always have some good guys in them, but we never really have a super deep lineup. I think this might be the best one yet. Now, as far as the other divisions go, I'm not exactly sure who's going to be in it in all the different divisions, but I guarantee it will be a New York pro to remember. So keep it tuned. Next week, we're going to have a special episode of Heavy Muscle TV previewing the New York Pro. Let's go to Big Beat. I hate this show more than I used to hate having to ask my best buddy to rub fake tan on my back, ... no homo. What foods and supplements can be taken along with protein to help protein absorption?
If you use a good protein, and I'm assuming you're talking about a protein shake, when you use a good whey protein isolate, and I've talked about this indefinitely, you can go watch our YouTube video that we put up, The Anatomy of a Protein Supplement, if you really want to learn a lot about what makes a good protein supplement. But a good whey isolate doesn't really need any help. I mean, it's pretty almost in digested form already. As long as the lactose has been removed because it's super high quality, you're not going to have any digestion issues. With Isolyze, we actually put a protein digestion enzyme complex in there to help it even digest even easier. But the truth is that, you probably your body can handle it on its own. Some guys like to do like 70, 80 grams of protein at a time. So for those guys, the protein digestion or the protease complex will definitely help the digestion process. But there really is nothing else that really needs to be done. And once again, if you don't want the protein to get absorbed too quickly, you might want to mix it with some kind of a fatty source, whether it be a source of macadamia nut oil or some olive oil in there, or you want to mix some all-natural peanut butter or almond or cashew butter. That will delay the absorption of the protein. But to be honest with you, the body can digest it with not a problem.
Right now on RxMuscle.com and on our YouTube channel, of course, the big announcement coming at the Pittsburgh Pro, Kevin Levrone will be competing at the 2016 Olympia. Levrone is back. It is a question that many in the bodybuilding world have wondered when and if he will make that comeback. Well, that answer has been given. Dave Palumbo made his official reaction video, and it's getting a lot of hits and obviously creating a lot of buzz, so it's available right now on RxMuscle.com and on our YouTube channel. Let's go to RX Relaxer. Love that name. Hey, Dave, I hate your show so much as May Nasser. I don't know how he's phrased this, but I guess what he's trying to say is he hates your show as much as your impersonation of the late and great Nasser El Somebody, and then he goes on to say, may he rest in peace.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And we're bound to start getting questions on Kevin Levrone post-announcement. Could the best of Kevin Levrone compete against Phil Heath's back shots? And why doesn't Sean Roden do bent over rows or at least train harder?
I don't know anything about Sean Roden's training. I as far as I know, Sean trains heavy, but I don't know. I'm not there with him. But as far as Kevin Levrone goes, I think Kevin at his best certainly could stand with Phil Heath from behind. To be honest with you, and this is no knock against Phil Heath because I think Phil Heath is a great champion, but I think Kevin Levrone at his best would decimate the Olympia lineup. I really do. Now, Kevin wasn't always at his best, because he would do these, 6-week diets for the Olympia or 12-week diets where he wouldn't train the whole year, and so sometimes he looked amazing. Sometimes you could tell he was a little on the smaller side. I think that if he does, we talked to him. We were driving up to WWE headquarters yesterday. He must have called me and said, you could verify this about 4 or 5 times on the way up, and I had it on speaker.
We wanted to start recording it.
Yeah. It would have been a great radio or TV show, or radio show at least. But, Kevin is really, really focused on this Olympia. He thinks he can win it, and he's not going to go out there and start bragging about it because only an idiot would do that, but he does believe in his heart that he can win it, and I think that that's important. If you want to do a show and you really want to win something, you got to believe it. And like Jay Cutler always believed he could win. Ronnie believed. Haney believed. Levrone thinks he can win, even at 51 years old or however old he is. He thinks he can win, and that's important. And if he can get his physique back to what we saw when he was at his best, or even close to that, I think he's got a good shot at it, because I haven't seen the best of Phil Heath these last couple of years. So it'll be interesting to see, how they stack up. Until we see them standing next to each other, it's really just a moot point,
Reminder, tomorrow afternoon, time to be determined. Tomorrow afternoon, we're going to have Iron Rage, and Dave Palumbo and John Romano are going to be talking about sort of the haters that have come out of the woodwork in referencing Kevin Levrone after he made his announcement. Iron Rage tomorrow afternoon. Keep it tuned to RxMuscle.com for the exact time. Let's go to Keeping It Steel. Dave, what year are we looking at here? Do you recognize the show?
Is that 97, Johnny? That's the year that I thought Nasser actually should have won, but if that is 97, I don't know if it is. Oh, no, that is not 97. This might be 96. Kevin was really good here. His back was probably the biggest I'd seen it. This might have been 96 after he won the Olympia. I mean, after he won the Arnold Classic, and beat Flex Wheeler. But I don't know. I'm not sure. Doesn't say on the video, John? You can't see it. All right.
we'll go on to our next question, still on the Muscle Central Forum on RxMuscle.com, and go to Keeping It Steel. Dave, I don't hate the show at all. There's a lot of disagreement among the bros and the scientists when it comes to the right nutrients, supplements right before, during, and after a workout. For example, some advise to take carbs during a workout, while others advise to take carbs only right after a workout. What's your vision on, and I think Johnny just verified it was 1995, correct?
Yeah.
What's your vision on pre, inter, and post-workout nutrition?
Look, I've said this a lot already. I mean, I've been asked this question tremendously. Too many times, actually, to even calculate. To me, a good pre-workout meal, okay, if you're going to do a food meal, should be eaten minimum an hour before, okay, because you want to give the meal time to digest. And I always like to eat, protein, some fats, and some carbs at that pre-workout meal. That's just me. If I'm going to do a shake, it might be a half hour before, and I'll still do protein, fat, and some carbs. It might be like isolized, carbolized, and a tablespoon of mac oil, but that's my pre-workout. Intra-workout, I don't do anything intra-workout. Now, sometimes when I would do legs and it would be really hot, I'd be sweating a lot, I might sip a Gatorade or sip a coconut water. And if I was training nowadays, coconut water is more prevalent. Very dilute carb drink, I wouldn't spend a ton of money on any intra-workout shakes because it's a waste of money. You don't need it. Remember, when you're working out, the blood is in your muscles. It's not in your organs of digestion. So if you're forcing a lot of calories into your stomach while you're training, they're just going to lay there and they're not going to go anywhere. So the truth is that, during your workout, you do not want to consume a lot of calories, okay? You want to consume maybe a little dilute drink, a carb drink that might have a little bit of electrolytes in there. That's it. That's why, something like Gatorade is fine just to sip on. But to be honest with you, you can drink water and you can probably get the same benefits out of it. Post-workout, you want to take a very rapid absorbing carbohydrate and protein. The protein being more important for recovery, the carb source being important for glycogen replacement in the muscle or restoration. I use 50 grams of isolized and 40 grams of carbolized, which is a high molecular weight carbohydrate post-workout. No fats there because after the workout's over, we want the stuff to get in as quickly as possible. And that's how simple it is. Everyone makes everything so goddamn complicated and complex. They make you think you need to get 40 different products, pre, post, intra, while you're driving to your car, walking to your car. It's a waste of freaking money, and it makes things too complicated. Eat a meal before the gym, have a post-workout shake, and if you really need to sip something, have a Gatorade or something like that in the middle of the workout. Don't make it that complicated, and don't spend all your money on post-workout shakes. Get the vitamins that you're not taking, get the essential fatty acids, get a fiber supplement first.
Let's go to our YouTube questions. Again, you're watching Ask Dave on RxMuscle.com, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Let's go to Rizwan Hussein. Hi, Dave. I hate this show so much. I would rather slapbox with Bruce Lee than rather watch this channel. Is growth hormone a must in bodybuilding?
Nothing is a must in bodybuilding except going to the gym and training and eating. Will growth hormone help you achieve your goals and put muscle on at a faster rate? Absolutely. I'd be lying if I told you it didn't. Anabolic steroids build muscle, we all know that, and combined with growth hormone, they build muscle faster, okay? So does it help? Sure. But if you had to compare the benefits or the muscle building capacity of steroids, anabolic steroids, compared to GH, steroids way outnumber the GH. GH is a much smaller effect.
Let's go to Eat That Fitness Prep Diet. Yeah, that's his full name. Wow. Should I set calories and macros on constant low level and increase cardio, fat burners, etc., or reducing calories during prep with a little changes in training and cycle?
I figure out what a person needs, nutritionally speaking, from a protein, fat, and carbs standpoint. Okay? I might give them a little more on the carbs just to start the diet. Then once I see how their body responds, then I acclimate and adjust things appropriately. So if I give them a certain diet and they're losing weight too fast, I'll increase food. If they're not losing weight at all, or maybe they're gaining, I'll cut back the food. And usually the first thing I cut back is carbs. I really don't like to touch protein and fat unless I absolutely have to. And that's how I adjust what the person's going to eat. Once you do this for a long time, and once again, I have very good diet instincts because I've been doing this for 30 years, But there's a lot of you out there that want to start coaching and helping people, and maybe you're doing it right now, but you have trouble. Certain people give you trouble. And, you're like, wow, certain people go easy, and then other people, I just can't get them in shape. Well, you know what? If this is something you want to do for a living and make money, and you could make a very good living as a diet coach in today's society because there's so many people competing, you got to educate yourself. You got to learn the facts, the science of what's going on. Okay, I give a course. I'm plugging myself here because I think it's a valuable tool that you guys can use, and I know a lot of you out there are coaches. Okay, even if you think you're a great coach, if you don't really have a very strong background in science and stuff like that, and you're really not sure of certain things, and you're kind of guessing your way through things, you might want to investigate and sign up for the Secrets to Becoming a Diet Guru course. I offer it a couple times a year. The next one is going to be June 18th, Saturday, June 18th, here at the RxMuscle Studios in Westbury, New York. You can sign up at DavePalumbo.com. I give you lunch at Taco Joe's, and we go to Sushi Village for all-you-can-eat sushi. At the end of the day, you get an 85-page manual, which is pretty much my playbook of every protocol I've ever designed. And you learn for 10 hours on how to be a diet guru coach, how to learn the science of diet, supplementation, drugs, pre-contest, off-season, men, women, detoxification, site injection oils, everything. I go over everything. There's nothing I leave out. And you can ask any questions you want. It's the most valuable tool that is being offered to anyone, any place in the world. Okay? And I'm offering it here in New York. I have people coming. One guy's coming from South Africa. Okay? I had a guy come from Australia a couple courses ago. It's that important and that vital if you want to be the best that you do. It's a one-time course. Look, I hate doing things over the course of 6 months. It's one day of your life, and I guarantee you it will be the most valuable thing that you learn, okay? And you will be able to take that information and use it for the rest of your life, okay? And once again, education is invaluable. And I hate being educated in things I don't really enjoy. This is all about bodybuilding and fitness and competing and training and eating right, okay? If that's something that interests you, sign up. Now, the one thing I have to tell you is the classes are very small. I keep them under 15 people because I want to make it a one-on-one experience. So don't wait too long because we're almost filled up right now. We probably have about 5 or 6 spots left. So once again, it's on DavePalumbo.com.
Let's go to Ransom. Does Big Romy have a legitimate shot at the Olympia even with his limited English-speaking skills? Will the IFBB consider crowning someone even larger than Phil?
I think that Romy can speak English well enough now that I don't think it's a handicap at all. Not that it was before, because the best physique wins the Olympia. Romy hasn't brought the best physique yet. Is he capable of it? Absolutely. Working with Chris Aceto, I think he's probably got the best chance he's ever had in any Olympia that he's been in at possibly winning. Will he win? I don't know. I haven't seen him in his best shape yet. I don't know what he looks like in his best shape. All we see is oodles of potential from this massively big guy. But, it's funny because everyone stopped really talking about Romy now that the Levrone factor has been brought into the Olympia. One thing is for sure, it might be one of the more exciting Olympias ever. Although, there's been rumors around that Dennis Wolf has been injured. So I don't know if he's going to be in the show. That's something we still have to find out.
You're watching Ask Dave on RxMuscle.com. Let's go to Marco Barich. Bostin Loyd, raw footage, taking gear on camera, shooting his biceps, and synthol and pecs, ... Smart? Stupid? Yes, all of this is a part of bodybuilding, but this is too much or good that somebody puts this all out.
Everyone knows that I'm friends with Bostin Loyd. I've helped him with his diet for several of his shows. I've known him since he's a teenager. I helped him win the Border States years and years ago. I think he's a really talented bodybuilder. I think he's a very smart guy. I don't think he necessarily makes the best decisions sometimes. But you know what? He's about the truth and honesty, and he thinks that he won't hold anything back. That's just his personality. He believes in putting it out there. This is what he does. He shoots, stuff in his chest, and he takes tons of peptides and GH and insulin. Do I think it's smart? No. I think that his drug stacks are way out of control, and I don't think anyone should imitate them. But it's his, it's his right to do it. Do I think he should put a video out online like this, showing himself doing it, shooting, stuff in the parking lot of the gym? Probably not a great idea. Look, I went to prison, for 5 months. I know what it's like. You think you're invincible. You think no one's even watching or cares about what you're doing. And then before you know it, they're knocking on your door. So, it's kind of hard to dispute that you do this stuff when you kind of chronicle it on YouTube. So probably not the smartest idea. If the stuff was legal, then I'd say, yeah, it's a great idea. It's really pretty funny. But since it's not legal, it probably is not the smartest move on his part. It might be a little irresponsible. I might even go as far as to say that. But once again, it doesn't affect my friendship with him. And I think he would respect the fact that I'm giving him my opinion, and not that he would listen to it anyway.
Let's go to Kuchin Styler. Dave, what would you say is the reason for Kevin Levrone's ability to get small as F and blow up in a matter of weeks?
He's obviously a genetic anomaly. No one else can do what he does in terms of putting on size at the rate he does. And he doesn't eat an enormous amount of food to do it. His body just likes to pack muscle on when he trains and when he eats right. And he's a genetic anomaly. So you can't really ask him what he does, because you can do the same thing he does and you wouldn't respond that way. Why does he go up and down like that? And throughout his career, he told us on an interview I did once. He said he was after he tore his pec, I think it was in '93, he decided that he was afraid that if he trained hard all the time, that he would tear it again, or worse, tear some other stuff. So he just stopped training in the off season. He would only, really train hard before a show. Now, whether it's a good move or not, I don't know. But I will tell you one thing: he's not injured right now, so it did preserve his body in that sense. I'm sure all the other guys of that era, myself included, we're all beat up, so we could never do what he's doing now and make a comeback. So, you know what? I always say there's a grand plan for everyone. Maybe he intuitively knew that he didn't want to blow his load, so to speak, early in his career, because he was going to come back later in life in his 50s and try to make a comeback. So now he has the tools and the wherewithal to do it. So, like I said, everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. If he does win the Olympia, which is a big, long shot, it would be the greatest victory probably in bodybuilding history.
We'll take one more. It is another Kevin Levrone related question. From Michael Campbell: do you think it will be a good idea for Kevin to compete in classic physique instead? He would not have to put on the same size to compete with today's freaks.
Kevin couldn't make the weight class. Even now, he couldn't make the weight class. Remember, classic physique is given. Kevin's only 5'9". Given your height, you only can weigh so much. So Kevin would certainly not make the weight. He can never be a classic bodybuilder. He's a beef and mass kind of guy, and that, I think, first of all, he would never go down to classic physique, even if he could make that weight, because he's all about winning the Mr. Olympia contest, the biggest contest that he never won. And that's really what it amounts to.
Actually, one more question from Too Sharp Physique. Will Testalize work for DHT and estrogen while on cycle?
Yeah, I have a lot of guys that use Testalize while on cycle. A lot of times I don't tell people to take it because a lot of them are already on estrogen and DHT blockers, prescription ones. But if you don't want to take something that's strong, Testalize works really good at flushing extra estrogen out of the body, blocking DHT production, and balancing that ratio of testosterone, estrogen, and DHT, because that's what's important. It's the balanced ratio. You don't want to have too much of one and too little of another. It's the ratio of them. And Testalize is great because it doesn't eliminate DHT and estrogen. It only blunts their production.
That's going to do it for this week's episode of Ask Dave, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. For Johnny Styles and Dave Palumbo, I'm Sadiq Faruqi. We'll see you next week.